Previously on Dicing with Death, Zweihard meets with Thane Bloodstone, ruler of Milfaldur, bringing him the disturbing news of all the dangers he has seen. When he extends the invitation to join the crusade, the elderly Thane turns it down. The next day, Zweihard appears before the War Council. He is questioned about his Cyclops sighting, and he agrees to lead them to the site. When they eventually reach the site, they find signs of a large excavation. Zweihard detects magic and senses something in the pit. They dig down, and soon enough, they find a Cyclops and proceed to slaughter it before it stirs. They return to the city to inform the Thane, but soon after their arrival, the city is attacked by more cyclopedias. Zweihard runs into the missing halflings, and as he has no obligation to the city, he joins them on a boat journey to Weatherlight, leaving Milfaldur to its fate. Once in Weatherlight, he decides to accompany the halflings to their monastery, in hopes of learning more about the mithril prophecy. The trip is uneventful until the group run into a dragon, which unfortunately seems friendly. Fortunately. Well, I don't know, depends. Depends his perspective. Stop laughing. The dragon, named Sky, turns out to be quite chatty and shares a lot of giant lore. It asks many questions about current events, and the conversation goes on for most of the day. Once they reach the halfling village, they insist Zweihard bless their potato crop before they leave. When they reach the Abbey, they find it abandoned, with clear signs of fighting. They return to the village after fruitlessly scouring the area for whatever raided their Abbey. Who raided the Abbey? Who is controlling the Cyclopedia? Will Zweihard find the mithril deposits? Let's find out now on Dicing with Death.
That recap is brought to you by Layla and Chris. And Ryan. Hey Ryan, how's it going? Welcome to Dicing with Death, everybody. Long time no see.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good to be back.
Yep. You guys already missed all the pregame chatter and the pre-Frofro chatter as well. So unfortunately, if you have missed that, you don't get to hear about Ryan's journey through Italy or Germany.
Euro trip stories.
Yeah. You missed all the good Euro trip stuff. It's fine. You can go find the Twitch VOD and check it out there.
I think they even made a movie based on...
On your journey already? You just got back like 2 days ago.
Well,
this was Hollywood is just like pumping shit out so quickly these days.
Well, it was like a prophetic movie.
Oh, okay. Who plays Ryan in this prophetic movie?
I'm not sure. I can't even.
Just make up a name.
I can't remember the characters, and never mind.
Ryan, played by Tom Cruise, goes through.
I'm pretty sure Tom Cruise is not in the Euro Trip.
Yeah. I also don't think he looks anything like you. He's like a good 8 inches shorter than you, and
I have plenty of celebrity doppelgangers, and Tom Cruise is not one of them.
Definitely not. All right, so here we are.
Are we jumping right into it? Do we need to?
We could not jump into it. We could skip
Do
around
you
for a
need to
while.
Tell us any of your. Yes,
Assassins ended. Frofro's
ended. Oh, I missed the last couple episodes.
Assassin is over. We just wrapped it up. Frofro is back, but it'll be temporarily on hiatus again, unfortunately. And the new campaign called Akuban Nights is going to be coming up in the next month or two. And Akuban Nights I don't know where this story is taking us right here, but chances are that Akuban Nights will overlap with this at some point in some time. They're going to be a pretty...
let's see if I can derail another campaign before it even starts.
They're going to be a pretty intracontinental campaign, moving about all the time. And hopefully they'll run into some of the same story elements that we're seeing here with Zweihard.
Fun stuff. Has the cast been announced yet?
The cast has been semi-soft announced. It is an all-European cast, and we're going to be playing at European-friendly times. We've got 2 people from the UK and 2 people from Germany. things are still subject to change because we haven't nailed down our start date, so maybe someone might not be able to make it. But for now, our cast is going to be Feyama, Neka Lucifer, Old Mighty Friendly Gamer, and oh my god, Fuzzy Freaks. So we're gonna have a solid,
a lot of chat representation.
Yeah, well, I put this team together specifically because I thought they would play well together. Instead of like taking kind of randoms out of chat and doing not interviews but casting sessions with them and like, you know, picking 4 strong players, I just picked 4 people who I knew would get along and have a good time and have just enough conflict with them to make a fun campaign, and then just like hope that they play well. I played with a few of them and they're great, so I'm excited for this.
Awesome.
Yeah, but that's neither here nor there. For now, we are just north of Heatstroke.
Yeah, in this little halfling village. I don't know if it got a name.
It probably has a name.
It's fine, I don't speak halfling.
Yeah, it would just sound weird to you anyway. So here we are. Little halfling village.
Yeah, so where should we pick up? I think we went to the Abbey, investigated a little bit, found like some signs of fighting, but no real signs of the clerics. Then we returned to the village. And yeah, so where are we picking up?
I think you are picking up when you return to the village, spend the night there, because your return trip was fairly long, I think, most of your day, and it is now the next day. I believe this would be, according to McTackey's timeline, this would be day 126 of our campaign.
All right then, and I've got, according to my character sheet, I'm at full health and stuff, so I'm just gonna roll with that. Let's see. All right, so I will wake up in the morning, have a nice halfling breakfast, I'm sure. Am I being like hosted by the halflings, or is there an inn? Where am I settled in? Oh, I need to join the disco. So.
Yeah, if you want to hear the epic background sounds of our little halfling village, which are quite cute and quaint. So you are being hosted in the inn by the inn owner, but they're like putting you up because the owner of the innkeeper is the like second cousin of one of the halflings that you showed up with. And so, of course, he's not going to ask you to pay since you're doing them this big favor. So his second cousin is putting you up and stuffing you full of potatoes. They've got this like red bell pepper stuffed potato where they'll like somehow open the potato.
Is the pepper stuffed in the potato, or is the potato stuffed in the pepper?
Yeah, they'll open the potato, like caramelize some onions and bell peppers, and like carve out part of the potato, stuff them in there, and then bake the potato again. In kind of like a thin sheet of lamb meat.
Twice baked. Zwei baked.
Yeah. So you'll get this like lamb meat shell with like a potato shell with caramelized onions and bell peppers inside of it.
Wow. Is that for breakfast or just any time?
That's breakfast, yes.
That is delicious. What is Zweihart's grub skill? 14.
Ooh.
One of my higher stats.
Yeah. Your lunch is this like cornbread meal mixed with what do we want to call it?
Yeah, I think Zweihart is he's a dwarf. He's got quite the appetite. So I think like the half day just sort of I sit down in the inn and eat several helpings of these potatoes, and before I know it, they're already bringing out like second breakfast, and like there's crumpets and tea coming, and then lunch is being served. It's just like a constant, and I don't realize that like eventually maybe you're supposed to get up and walk away.
only if you have work to do.
While away the morning.
Yeah.
Halflings. Maybe it's I don't know what they're interested in, what they're talking about. Are they talking about the missing clerics and the Abbey, or does at some point the conversation turn dark when we get to that subject?
The villagers are actually quite happy to not discuss it. They have nothing to say on the matter. At least they have nothing to bring up on the matter. They're very, we have visitors? Well, we must feed the visitors, and then they're preparing all these meals and bringing by various, halfling wines and beers to see, ooh, does the dwarf like wine or beer? Does he like this one? How about this one? We're gonna mix this beer with this lemonade, and you tell me if you like it afterwards. It's so hot, And so you're getting kind of You're sort of like an attraction to them. Ooh, let's give them all of our food and drink stuff and see what the dwarf likes. It's sort of the game the halflings are playing with you. Seemingly oblivious to the dangers that may exist around them.
Or they're missing. I guess the Abbey is some ways south of here, right? It was like a half-day walk. Was that what it was? Oh, so I think sometime around lunch. Oh, well, I'm stuffed, and I think I best be getting on with my quests.
Let me make you a to-go bag. Please, hold on.
I couldn't trouble. Well, if you insist.
And Annie's gone, and, in 10 minutes later, you're going to come back with he'll come back with a burlap sack stuffed with sandwiches and some cheeses and some specialty trail mix.
Meat-wrapped, spice-baked potatoes.
I put one between some pieces of bread and made it a sandwich for you. It's specially thin and flattened using a grill press soaked in yesterday's bacon grease.
May I ask you, is there a constable or a sheriff or someone with authority I can... what's so funny?
I suppose... I suppose Old Man Underhill would be the closest thing to a sheriff or constable around these parts. He's, somewhat of a law enforcement officer.
Oh, I mean to investigate this abbey to the south, and I'm wondering, who might be of some authority.
Let me go fetch Old Man Underhill for you. And he runs off and...
Well then, I guess I'll sit back down.
While he's off, his younger sister comes over and pours you another shandy. Unfortunately, this halfling that runs the inn is unmarried. No wife, no kids to speak of yet. Too busy cooking, you suppose. And when you're halfway through your beer, the Old Man Underhill shows up. It's an elderly halfling walking on a cane with a bit of a white beard and a bald top. Strapped to his side is a kind of a beautifully curved short sword. It's got a rounded tip almost. It still comes to a nice fine point, but it's got that roundy bit to it. It doesn't have a sheath. It's just at his side in a hook-like hold. And he comes walking on his cane up to you and says, in common, "Are you the dwarf that's causing so much trouble?"
Trouble? I meant no trouble. Old Man Underhill?
Yes, that's me.
I am Zwihard Blacksteel of the Blacksteel Dwarfs. It is a pleasure to visit your small town. Unfortunately, I have some serious business to discuss.
Well, speak it up quickly too. I don't have much time left in this world, and I don't want to spend it all talking to a dwarf.
I look around a bit surprised. I mean, most of these halflings have been so laid back, and
Super laid
this
back.
old one seems a bit uppity. Are you familiar with the Abbey south of here?
Yes. Yes, I am.
Well, I meant to visit there yesterday, and found it, ransacked.
Charming?
And no. And the priest and the cleric's missing.
Oh.
Oh, yes. This is the first you've heard of this trouble?
It is. Yes. Are you sure they just weren't out and about?
No,
Sometimes they do go off looking for truffles.
there were signs of scuffles. No truffles.
Have you found the culprits?
No, that's what I came to ask you about.
Well, I don't know who did what now. But it would be troublesome if something happened to the monks in the Abbey. They're good folk. They keep us safe from harm.
Well, I apologize for having to be the bearer of this bad news.
Yes, yes.
I believe it is my duty to get to the bottom of it. I have
Well,
some
then
things to
I
discuss.
shall accompany you as the only resident of this town that has seen war. I shall, and he reaches for his sword, like letting go of his cane for a moment and shakingly pulls out his little short sword. I shall aid you to put down whatever menace threatens my people.
That is an impressive blade. Is it actually an impressive blade?
It's actually quite nice. I mean, it's at least well designed. It looks pretty. As a fellow weaponsmith, you would recognize the artistic craftsman that went into the sword. It's probably well balanced and definitely well loved and taken care of. You know, it doesn't look
bronze?
rusted or anything. It is bronze, yes, but it's very nice.
Where shall we start? Back to the Abbey?
In my day, that's how we did it. We went to the scene of the crime, not that I was a constable, and we investigated from there.
I feel like maybe I already investigated, but I can't remember, so let's investigate again. The innkeeper has been kind enough to pack lunch, so I think we're all ready to go.
Oh, I only packed lunch for one person for one day. There's only 7 sandwiches in there. Hold on, let me get some more. And runs off and brings back meals that he had prepared for somebody else for something else and gives them to you. All right, now you guys have 14 sandwiches, which should last you the whole day.
Especially since we've already had a hearty breakfast and second breakfast and lunch.
And you're getting a late start, yeah. This will definitely, hopefully, get you most of the way. All right, off you go.
Off we go.
Okay, you turn around, and you and the old man head back down the peninsula, a ways, looking for the Abbey.
I've grown quite attached to my sandwiches, so I think I'm going to cast a weighty chest spell upon my bag so that no one can steal my lunch.
Nice. All right.
So as I'm packing, I don't know, rub a little bit of lead on it, and it grows unnaturally heavy.
Excellent.
I think I've been systematically weighing down much of my gear over the past days. It's been so long since we played, I can't recall, but That's sort of the default. Everything's frisky and everything's heavy and quite
just
an
how
inconvenient little
Zwihard likes it. Okay. So, you will make your way right on back down to that temple. Do you remember to the not temple, the monastery? Do you remember any of the bits here that you encountered before?
McTacky has posted a description in chat, I think, from the wiki. So it sounds like the Abbey is about 6 miles south of south of town. And I probably recall where it was. So trek south.
Okay. So you get back to the Abbey. It is just as empty as the last time you were here.
Looks like I still have I have 3 goats. Oh, so I guess I collect them where they were grazing on the outskirts of town somewhere. Hopefully they didn't get into too much trouble.
No.
We make our way south.
Yeah. You and Old Man Underhill here start poking around the Abbey. He leans heavily on his stick and tells you about... Oh, go ahead.
There's no trouble on the way to the Abbey?
Nope. Empty. Okay. Boring.
Okay.
The old man starts telling you about when this abbey was first built, I was but a wee lad, and, you know, my so-and-so helped with the construction, and yada yada, and kind of prattles on.
Was this crevasse here before, built around the abbey, or was...
Quite the opposite, young man! The abbey was built around the crevasse. It opened in the course of an earthquake once upon a time, spilling forth the visions of the future, as they call it. And that is why we built the abbey here.
Do the clerics get their visions from these fumes?
They get their visions from the gods. The fumes are simply a middleman.
I approached the crack and take a look down.
Well, it's a crack. You know, you can't see very far because it cracks back and forth, and so but it goes down a ways. You could probably reach your hand farther down than you can see, and there are these fumes sort of like rising and wafting gently from it.
Is it warm? Or
no, I mean it's about normal air temperature.
I won't stick my hand down, but I'll stick like the shaft of my halberd.
Okay. It goes down a little ways. Like, the hand might be useful because it can bend around the cracks. The shaft just kind of sticks down a moment and gets stuck.
Have you bothered to see what's down there?
The shaft? The crack?
Is it wide enough for anyone, for like a halfling to crawl down?
No, it's only about yay wide. No, but... What? The gods speak to the now you have me saying it to the monks through this.
I crouch down next to the crack and give the vapors a bit of a cautious sniff.
There's definitely a pungentness to the smell, to the vapors there. There's a kind of like you know when you first sniff ammonia, like you get your first waft of ammonia and it kind of like takes your breath away. It's that same sort of surprise shock.
Well, the struggle appears to be in the cellar, and I like point him to the stairwell down. Yeah,
you guys head down into the cellar. It takes a little while to get the old man down there, but it happens. It happens. Once again, down in the cellar, you see signs of a struggle. There are things knocked about. It looks just the same as you left it. No obvious clues, but signs of unpleasant things.
Bloodshed?
No, there's no blood anywhere, but there are like knocked over tables. There are pulled away like barrels that had been pulled from their original place, and just kind of like kicked up stuff. You know, it's a disorderly place in an otherwise very orderly monastery.
Well, what do you make of this?
Youth never clean up after themselves. It's either that the monastery has fallen into the hands of scallywags and hooligans who don't properly care for their territories, or something more nefarious is afoot. But who would intervene with the monks? They're a peaceful lot. Little in the way of wealth.
Well, I don't think I was able to find any signs of tracks outside, but maybe you'll have better luck than I.
Okay.
And I'll sort of leave him to investigate while I think Zwihard will go back over to the crack.
Okay. You get back to the crack while the old man pokes around with his stick and sword.
Yeah. And I think while he probably wanders outside maybe to look for tracks, I will set my bag down and crouch down next to the crack and give it another sniff.
Like a good sniff?
A good sniff. I'm trying. Does it seem like it's toxic?
I mean, it's got that ammonia shock to it.
Yeah.
So is that toxic to you?
Maybe. I don't know. I'm going to give it a good hearty lungful and see if I can commune with the gods.
Give me
clutching my holy symbol.
Constitution check.
All right. With a Constitution check or a poison save?
A poison save, yeah, with your
my
con bonus.
4, yeah. So what is my poison save? 9. So I pass. I don't know if I want to have passed or if I wanted to fail to get a vision, but
well, you pass, so you don't like retch and start puking and fall over on the ground and pass out. Instead, your head just begins to swim, and the room in you takes on a kind of distant quality. The walls seem to be moving, like they're not moving, but they seem like they're moving a little farther away. And then there's that pillar that's a little bit closer to you, and that seems like it's moving towards you. And you get this sense of like the objects in the room are changing their relative distance to you without actually moving or changing their distance to you.
Does it feels like a hallucination, right? Or do I feel like I'm communing with the gods?
It could be the same.
I'm a cleric, right? I do my prayers every morning and am imbued with divine powers. So does this feel at all similar to that? Or am I just high?
Give me a wisdom check here. Willpower check. Yeah. See if you can make sense of the visions you're seeing.
27.
Yeah, at first it feels like, holy shit, I just took a bunch of drugs, I think. I don't know, I'm Zwihard, I've never taken drugs before, probably. And then all of a sudden you're like, no, wait a minute. There's something else here. I can feel a directional sense at the back of my mind, as if something is trying to draw my attention to the things around me in the room.
I think standing up and teetering, staggering away from the crack, I sort of follow my nose.
You follow your nose outside. You see the old man has wandered some ways off, hundreds of feet. You've only left him a minute ago, and so you're surprised to see him at such a great distance to you. And as you kind of chase after him and stumble after him, you find him poking the ground with his sword, his weird bell-shaped sword. And as he stabs it, a kind of yellowy fluid rises up into the spot where his blade pressed into the ground. Almost like, when you got a good juicy steak on your plate and there's that kind of reddish fluid that pours out of it that's not actually blood, but it's that internal fluid of an animal. It's that same sort of like thing, except instead of having a reddish tint, it has a yellowish tint to it.
What is that? And I like sort of stumble back and then stumble forward and take a look at what he's investigating.
He's just kind of poked the ground with his sword. But as you go and like step towards it, you can feel the ground squish beneath your feet as if it's soft, almost like you're walking on a large flank of steak.
Yeah, I start to look around, and then I remember those cyclopses that were buried into the ground and have a bit of a panic attack and like leap back and try and find get off of the steak ground, the meaty earth.
Yeah, you can stumble away from the meaty earth section and back off.
What is it shaped like? Is it at all regular?
It's just regular ground to you. There's not like a hard point where it's meaty and non-meaty. It's more of like meaty and less meaty and less meaty and less meaty and less meaty until it's solid ground at one point. There's like a nice smooth transition.
Yeah, I look up at Old Man Underhill. Is this what he's investigating, or does he not see what I see?
No, this is definitely what he's investigating. But as you look up after retreating backwards and see that he's moved further away from the Abbey, out deeper into the meaty ground.
Oh, is this like the edge of it, and it continues from here?
Apparently, yeah. You can see him walking as he steps. You can see the ground kind of dip beneath the pressure of his feet, his big halfling feet.
See, I don't have any sort of divination spells memorized, so I think I stay here on the edge of it and kind of poke at it with like my mailed finger and kind of investigate it, sort of push against it and see how it responds. Does it ooze because he punctured it? Yeah. I brush away some of the dirt. Is there like something underneath the soil?
So you go back out onto the fleshy bits. Then.
I try and find the edge of the fleshy bit if I can, or where I'm clear.
It's a smooth gradient, so.
So I'm probably a little ways onto it, but where I'm clearly sort of at the edge of the flesh, and I like brush away the top layer of dirt.
Yeah, I mean, you start to dig away the dirt, and you get to a point like as you brush the dirt away, this kind of fluid rises up from underneath.
It's yellow?
It has a very light yellow tint to it.
I give it a sniff, try to identify does it smell the same as the crack, or?
No, it smells very different than the crack. It has a like a spoiled meat smell to it. Like chicken that was left out for too long. Yeah.
And so is it like, is it like a liquid, or is it viscous?
The fluid is fairly thin. Yeah, I would probably same viscosity as water. It's not oily, and it's not detergent-y.
So it's almost like this is a swamp or something, but something weird and
maybe
supernatural.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna collect the goats and follow after Old Man Underhill.
Sure.
Will the goats go onto this ground, or does it freak?
You collect the goats and start heading out towards Old Man Underhill, who's now like a mile away from you or something.
Am I tripping? How did he get so far? And
you're surprised at the distance he's made.
And I hurry to follow after him.
Yeah. So you're chasing after Old Man Underhill when you see, he's starting to rise up onto a little bit of a hill where there's this, like a small shrubbery that he goes and starts like poking with his walking stick. And then the ground at his feet kind of like opens up and he drops down and vanishes from sight.
Underhill! And I like tug at the goats and run towards him. Is all of this ground kind of unsteady?
It is.
So this is like which direction are we heading? Just out of curiosity.
You're fairly confident that you're heading southwest.
So there's like further. So the village was north of us, right? And we walked about 6 miles south to get to the Abbey, and then we continue further south. Yeah. So I hurry to run to Underhill. run to that shrubbery.
All right.
Do I find like a chasm that he's fallen into, or is the ground sealed up after him?
Yeah, you get up towards that shrubbery, and you start poking about. The ground looks pretty solid. Give me a perception check.
Oh, or I definitely don't go past where he went. Now I'm thinking he fell into quicksand or something. Underhill, can you hear me? 21, barely a pass.
Yeah, you notice the base of this bush is right next to these interlocking stones. They look almost like the teeth of a zipper or something. It's maybe, what is this, like 3.5 feet long, and it's just kind of like rock, 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 rock.
I take the halberd and from a distance of about 5 feet sort of prod the edge of these stones.
They seem pretty stuck in the ground. They don't move.
I think I bring the the head of the halberd sort of whirling around and like attack it, expecting maybe it's like a mouth. Maybe I'm tripping, but I'm thinking this is like a mouth of some foul creature. And I give it a thwack, see if I can, shock it into action.
The ground at your feet begins to quiver, and sure enough, those teeth open up wide into a maw. And I think we're going to take our first break here, and when we come back from our break, we're going to roll for initiative, because a mouth is opening just in front of Zweihaard in the ground, and it's already eaten one halfling. So we'll see you on the other side of our break.